his name and the other fellas, making it for the harbor in their Newfoundland wonder, the glorious wooden boat. She's been romanticized in song, immortalized in verse. Now, alas, she may soon be eulogized, for many believe her days are numbered, that she's about to fall victim to what was once considered a cheap plastic imposter, the fiberglass boat. Fiberglass holds none of the mystique normally associated with a master boat builder at work. It's about as exciting as watching paint dry. But today, in the outports of Newfoundland, fiberglass is fast becoming the preferred choice of most small boat fishermen. The latest statistics from the Fisheries Loan Board show applications for maintenance-free fiberglass outnumbering wood by more than 10 to 1. Wood may still be a sentimental favorite, but sentimentality counts for naught when it comes to scraping and painting. And in these days of microwave ovens and instant everything, it's little wonder that fiberglass plants are popping up all over. Hi everyone, I'm Bill Kelly. Today we're in Clarenville, but these days we could be almost anywhere in Newfoundland and still be within a gunshot of one of these plants. Over the past couple of years, there's been a real explosion in the number of fiberglass boat building factories, up from about a half dozen to well over 30, producing everything from the small pond boats to the big 65-footers. Here in Clarenville, Milton Fiberglass got started almost by accident. About 2 years ago, Hubert Stringer was helping a friend pick out a new fiberglass boat. But everywhere they went, there was a long waiting list. At one plant, Hubert's friend was 97th on the list. At another, 64th. So Hubert thought,
well, if that demand is out there, why couldn't we get into the action and slack up some of the backlog?
Several months and $220,000 later, Milton Fiberglass was in business.
We move her up here now.
Stringer had his boats designed locally by Bruce Fudge of Robert's Arm, and his entire staff was put through a 19-week training course by an expert brought in from Nova Scotia. Stringer built his first few boats in a converted garage, but it wasn't long before he was operating out of a brand new building and turning out 18 and 23-footers, a couple a week. Not bad for a 63-year-old construction company owner who was starting out from scratch at a time when most people his age would be winding down for retirement. Making a fiberglass boat is a lot like baking a cake. The same principle anyway. You start off by greasing the mold with a release wax. Then you add the ingredients, in this case several layers of fiberglassing material, and when it's cured, you pop the finished product out of the mold, just as the boys are doing here.
This is what your mold looks like inside, no?
There's obviously a lot more to it than baking a cake. There's a whole lot more at stake if something goes wrong on the water. But the analogy is sound. That's exactly the way a boat builder explained it to us, and he ought to know.
As you go right across over there now and lift up the tail of it.
Besides the regular fishing boats, Stringer is putting cabins on some of his 23-footers.
What the thing is now? A cabin cuddy, we call it. That goes on in front, and that's nice for the fishermen. If he got caught out, he can stay in it all night. And we've got several requests for those now. People go scalloping, they goes out for a couple of nights, scallop dragging, and it's big enough for a couple of men to lie down in and be comfortable.
As good as a boat may look on the factory floor, it means nothing if she's cranky on the water. This morning, they're putting both the 23-footer and the little 18 through their paces. That's Hubert's son and business partner Oliver in the 23-footer. The guy in the 18 is a potential paying customer, Kings Cove fisherman Gary Monks. On shore, Hubert is watching every move, as are a bunch of guys who saw the boats and came down for a look.
The fisherman loves it, and they think well of it. The shape and clean water boat. We had a nice finish on our boat. The man came out from Nova Scotia for what he called a yacht finish. Our coats are real smooth. They're like smooth window glass. And we also add the colour. It's not painted. It's not taped on. It's all done into the mould. When she comes out of the mould, she's a complete boat.
Gary, what do you think of it, boy?
Oh, boy, it's beautiful.
Yeah?
Beautiful.
You got a bit of a spray over you?
That's a little pick when I was turning out there in the wind.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Pretty rough out there today, isn't it?
Oh, it's a nice breeze wind out there.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't think anyone going to be out fishing in a boat this size wood anymore.
No?
No.
Now, Gary, you already have a 30-footer, don't you?
Yeah, we've got a 30-foot trap skiff.
So what would you use the likes of this for?
Lobsters, salmon,
Yeah?
and hand line late in the fall.
Uh-huh. So are you serious about buying this one? Is this...
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah, she impressed you, did she?
Oh, yes. Nicest one I've seen so far.
Yeah,
The fiberglass boats.
Okay,
For that size, you know.
Well, what makes this one better than the other ones you've seen?
She's wider, deeper, and she doesn't sparkle any water back over her stem.
So she's pretty smooth, eh?
Oh, she's a pretty smooth boat riding, clean boat. She's not dirty at all.
Back at the plant, the crew has begun preparatory work on 2 new boats. A 16.5-footer for the guy who wants to go out and jig a few fish, and a 20-foot cabin cruiser. The wooden plugs they're working on right now will eventually be used to take off a fiberglass mold. This is very time-consuming and expensive work. Creating a mold from start to finish takes at least a couple of months and costs about $1,000 a foot. To look at these guys at work, you'd swear they were at it for years. And even the man who trained them initially, Harley Sandford of Lunenburg, says he can hardly believe they've come so far so quickly.
It's been less than a year since the end of the training course, only been about 10 months, and right now they're having trouble keeping up with their orders. And, well, again, like I say, I've been doing training courses all over the Maritime provinces for the last 6 years, and I've never had a company that I've worked with ever take off the way this company has.
Remember Gary Monks, the fisherman who took the 18-footer out for a test run? Well, he bought one in the spring, and eventually we made our way up to Kings Cove to see what he thought of her.
As far as I'm concerned, they're far ahead of the wood. They don't sag. You don't burn near so much gas. I mean, there's the same thing when you house them up in the falls when you launch them in the spring. You got no maintenance on them. There's no painting them or nothing like that. So they're far ahead of the wooden boats, that's my opinion anyway. I've always had wooden boats, but I wouldn't trade in this one for all the wooden ones I've ever had.
Down off the Burin Peninsula, in the Fortune Bay community of English Harbour East, we've tracked down another man who recently took delivery of a 23-footer from the Clarenville plant. Gus Labour wanted an all-purpose boat, one he could use primarily in the trap fishery and for scallop dragging. But this morning, he and his wife Lucy are out fishing turbot instead. Ordinarily, Gus will be scallop fishing right now, but he only got the boat a few weeks ago and hasn't had time to fit her out. Once Gus does get straightened away, he'll often be out overnight, and that's why he ordered the cabin boat. He won't leave the cabin today, though. Gus is only pulling 8 nets, and he and his wife should be finished up in a couple of hours. Although right now they're into a good run of fish. They could be a bit longer.
Gus, you're going to need a lot of fish at 35 cents a pound to pay for your new boat.
Yeah, there is.
How do you find her?
Yeah, not too bad, boys. Pretty good.
Well, you've only had her now, what, a month or so?
Yeah, about a month, yeah.
Has she lived up to your expectations?
Yeah, pretty good.
Good in the water?
Oh, yeah, she's good in the water, yeah.
Gus, you're a fellow who's been in boats all of your life, mostly wooden boats.
Yeah.
How does she compare with the wooden boat?
Oh, there's no comparison at all.
No?
No, it's way better than that. I mean, you got nothing to do with them, eh?
No maintenance, you mean?
No maintenance at all, eh?
No.
No.
I mean, so you get some guys now who complain that they're rough on the water, that they're dirty, that kind of thing, and they don't sit in the water as well as the wooden boat. Is that a myth, or do you see any truth in that at all?
No, I don't see no truth in that at all. This is my second one now, fiberglass boat, but I don't find nothing wrong with them. I find it good now. I mean, I'll be taking some rough seas, you know. Whatever I can get out, I come.
No. No problem with them at all, eh?
No problem at all.
So there's no way you're going back to the wooden boat.
No way, sir. No way.
Gus labor will make a good day's pay this morning, but with the fishery so poor in many parts of the province, good paydays are few and far between. And that means trouble could be brewing for many of the province's boat builders, especially some of the newer ones like Hubert Stringer in Clarenville. Stringer, however, hopes to avoid that pitfall by diversifying into a whole range of other products. In addition to boats, Milton Fiberglass is already producing several products, such as trawl tubs and a sled for snowmobiles, and they'll soon be producing a number of others, including shower stalls, tub enclosures, and a cap for pickup trucks. Of all his products, though, Hubert Stringer believes one in particular holds the most promise.
Yeah, this is our septic tanks now, Bill, this one.
Oh, I see. So this is the completed product.
This is the one completed, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
We have one more cover to make now for this end of it. The cover is like this one up here, look.
Right.
This cover will fit either side. Don't make any difference which side you put it on.
And I imagine, Hubert, there's quite a demand for these things, is there?
Oh, yes, sir, yes, yeah. That'll replace the iron ones, steel ones.
Now, Hubert, what's the advantage of your fiberglass septic tank, say, compared to the steel one?
Well, this one will never rust. It will never rust. It's there forever.
So it'll never give out?
Never give out. We tell our customers a 100-year guarantee with no rust.
That's not bad, is it? Well, one thing for sure, none of your customers are going to be able to come back and claim it.
No, that's true, that's true. Yeah.
Now, what about cost?
The cost is a bit more. This one sells for $600, plus your tax.
Compared to?
The other one is something like probably $450, $500.
I see.
Plus the tax.
Well, that's not a whole lot.
Difference, no.
So with any kind of luck, Hubert, this will become a very important part of your overall operation?
We're hoping it will be a quarter of our business.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
In the meantime, boats will continue to be the mainstay at Milton Fiberglass. And there's nothing more gratifying to the builder than to see another one being loaded aboard a trailer, ready for delivery. Time for a break now. When we come back, we'll drop in on a number of other fiberglass boat builders to find out how they feel about future prospects for the industry.
You pull her in now.
Welcome back. We're in Centerville, Bonavista Bay now at Fiberglass Works Limited, another relatively new boat building factory that's making quite a name for itself around the province. This is home to the Seabreeze line of boats, 18, 19, and 23-footers. Not yet 3 years old, Fiberglass Works has produced well over 100 boats, and they're scattered all over the province, from the Avalon Peninsula to northern Labrador. So far, things have worked out just fine. Couldn't be any better. But production manager Abby Norris worries about future growth. He thinks the field is becoming too crowded.
When we started a couple of years ago, I think there was 13 plants. I think there's now in excess of 30. So everybody is jumping in, and what's going to happen is going to be nothing for nobody. So I think you'll see a lot of plants closing down over the next 2-3 years, I think.
So you figure there are too many plants now, eh?
Yes, there is.
And I suppose what that affects is the markup, because everybody's cutting their margin as much as possible.
That's right. You try to do the best you can without losing. I mean, that's the name of the game. If you got to be in business and losing, close your doors and get out.
No point, that's right.
No point. No. We keep 4 of us going here about 9-10 months a year. We're hoping to build a piece on in the spring, maybe 2 or 3 more guys. So the area really needs it. I don't know what government can do about at least anything, but they should try and control the plants being started, because pretty soon there's going to be too many and nobody's going to have anything.
All 3 Seabreeze boats have gone over pretty well, but the bestseller by far has been their 19-footer. It's rapidly becoming the company's bread and butter boat.
The little cabin boat we got there seems to be going over quite well. We sold most of the cabin boats. What we sold the year was cabin boats. She is the one that's doing it for us, yeah. Without that one, we've been biting our nails a long time ago. we tend to put a little more material into our boats. She's extra strong, handles quite well. The boys put an extra bit of time into the boat, right? Sanding, grinding, taking off the sharp edges. In the long run, I think it pays off.
We move on now from Centerville to Lewisport, from one of the newer fiberglass plants to one of the very first established on the island, Bayrider Boats. Bayrider is much bigger than the Centerville operation, with a wider selection of boats to choose from. But the owner here shares many of the same concerns raised by Abby Norris of Fiberglass Works. There's simply not enough work for all of the province's boat builders, according to Sid Goss, and he predicts at least half of them will eventually go out of business.
I think this island can maintain somewhere around a dozen or so boat builders. There's enough demand to keep 12 producers healthy and viable. Again, there's not enough to keep 30 builders viable. If 15 go out of business and we're left with the 12 or 15 good operators, that'll be good. Competition is good. It keeps us on our toes, keeps everybody on their toes, and what's left over will be the half that's the best.
In other words, it'll be survival of the fittest. And naturally, Goss figures his experience will place him among the survivors. Besides, Sid Goss has a knack of turning misfortune to advantage. That's how he got into fiberglass boats in the first place.
Well, we started the company back in '79. And actually, we started almost by accident. I had to be laid up for a year with a broken ankle, and while I was recovering, I was going to build a boat for myself. And the idea was that if I was going to build a boat, just build a fiberglass one, something was going to last. So I started it, and it created so much interest around the community that when we were finished, we had several orders for boats. That was 10 years ago. In 1980, we built our first building to actually start, well, what you see here now, more or less.
Okay, this 20-foot mold right there.
Yeah.
This one there is our 18-foot mold.
Yeah.
And in the oven there we have two 22-foot molds.
Right.
What the foreman is showing us here are the various molds for Bayrider's boats. Sid Goss depends on fishermen for most of his business, and the more molds he has, the more variety he can offer them.
We build anywhere from a 9-foot dinghy to a 31-foot longliner. And in between we've got an 18-footer, a 20-footer, 22, we've got a 25 and a 27. We can pretty well build, within those ranges, from 9 foot to 31 feet, we can pretty well build what a fella wants. Again. Now the hulls, the nature of fiberglass like that, you can't change the hull of a boat like that, but as far as interior layout goes, it's we can pretty well do what he wants.
The farther we go, the bigger they get. Here in Springdale, Otto Yates specializes in the famous Cape Island boats. Yates still turns out a fair number of 18-footers and the like, but he spends most of his time these days on small longliners ranging in size from 30 to 42 feet.
This one here is our mole, and that's the boat that was built in the mole.
Otto Yates is a man who comes by his trade honestly. He was building wooden boats long before fiberglass came on the scene.
I guess you'll notice by the workmanship as you go along that we're trying to do a half-decent job because fiberglass has just been more or less introduced in Newfoundland in the bigger boats. We're a bit later than in the rest of the maritime provinces. So by putting out a good product, you'll prove to the fishermen that you got a good boat. I think most fishermen know that when they get the boat here, it's pretty strong and sturdy and seaworthy. In fact, we haven't done a warranty job since we opened the shop 5 or 6 years ago.
When you guys started, Newfoundland fishermen were very leery of the fiberglass boat, weren't they?
Yeah, this is why I just mentioned that if we could put out a good product to prove that the fiberglass boat is good, no doubt the market will grow, and eventually there'll be no wooden boats.
So you figure the days of the wooden boat are numbered, do you?
Yeah. Well, if a fisherman buys a wooden boat, he probably got it for 10 or 15 years. If he buys a fiberglass boat built to solid glass like these are built, these are solid glass. And they're good, well, the lifespan is unknown almost. I guess they're good for 30 or 40 years, probably more.
This is our 30-foot trap skip.
So this is the brand new one.
What you're seeing here is a new breed of boat and a new breed of boat builder. Otto's son George joined the company after graduating from university with a degree in commerce. The boat George is showing off here is a first for the province, a longliner converted into an open trap skiff.
The ones we've finished so far, we finished as small longliners. And there's one that fished on the Labrador all this summer, and one's fished up in Bonavista Vista Bay, and there's one up in Snaffy. And all those boats proved out very well. So we're quite pleased. So we're expecting good things for next year with that boat.
So this one now is spoken for, is it?
Yes, that one there is going up in Petty Harbour. And this is a little bit different than the first ones we've done. It's an open trap skiff, 30-foot open trap skiff, 12 feet wide. It's nice and deep and a good carrier. All reports are that it's a good sea boat.
George, how much will this set of fishermen back, do you figure? Totally finished.
Well, this one here, the one we took to the marine show, it's finished, ready for engine and equipment. The hull is done and the wheelhouse is on it, but it's up to the fisherman what type of equipment or engine he's going to put aboard it. So, like it's sitting there, it's $25,000.
So, George, you're into this for the long haul?
Yes, I am. I plan to pursue a career in this industry. I think it has a good future, and we're trying to keep on top of all the new changing technologies. This is why we're constantly trying to develop new molds to meet the changing needs of today's fishermen and tomorrow's fishermen. So we're quite proud of our boats, and we enjoy doing them, so it's not a short-term thing. We plan to be in the business for the next decade.
Back in Clarenville, Hubert Stringer is breathing a whole lot easier these days. Milton Fiberglass is going great guns, way ahead of his most optimistic projections. Stringer has doubled his staff from 6 to 12, he's operating 2 shifts, and his order book is pretty well filled.
A year ago, in November, we sold our first boat, and right now we got 150 out sold, and we got 25, 30 on order now to go. We figured if we get 50 in the year, we'd be lucky when we started, but I guess we latched on to something good, and we've satisfied the customers. Trying to satisfy the customers, I should say. But apparently we must be doing something.
Yes, sir, Hubert Stringer is doing something right, and so are other fiberglass boat builders. They're putting out a good product, and they're capturing a growing share of the market. And that, ladies and gentlemen, takes us back to the question raised at the beginning of the program. Is there still a place for wooden boats in the face of this ever-increasing competition? The truth is, there's room for both, and there will be for a long time to come.
Fiberglass is making big inroads, there's no doubt about that. But those people who are forecasting the imminent demise of the wooden boat might do well to recall how Mark Twain reacted to reports of his own death. They're greatly exaggerated, he said, and the same holds true, we suspect, for the old reliable.